How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
You know where I first heard that?
Ron Burgundy.
No, actually. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, wow. That's a fucking throwback cartoon for sure.
I still remember. How now, brown cow?
God, man, Cartoon Network was so weird back then when we were kids, man.
We got good cartoons.
Yeah, we got good. And then we got the stuff that, like, our older... Can we swear?
Oh, yeah.
Then we got the fucking stuff that was, like, replayed from, like, the 80s. Like, I remember, like, Mask Heroes, and I thought that was, like, the coolest theme song.
I don't know Masked Heroes.
Mask Hero, save the day. And it's, like, some melodic hair metal thing. It was
What
cool.
were the Masked Heroes?
They were like, okay, so take G.I. Joes, but they transformed in Transformers.
So are they people or are they robots?
They're people.
They're
but
people.
they have like these masks that they wear that they turn into machines.
Oh, okay. I've never heard about this.
Yeah, so Mask Heroes was a deep cut for sure. I know Tony can probably be like popping for that when I mentioned that to him.
That's sick. I remember my only real like exposure, I guess, to 80s cartoons growing up was like for sure Thundercats.
Oh yeah, Thundercats.
I have now it's not that impressive, but it's a plastic replica of the Sword of Omens.
Hey, the Store of Omens. That was a replica. That's still cool, man. You know,
I want a real one though, like an actual dude. I want a sword, and then like have the little
to the ring, and then have someone larger, like do a dissolve effect, and have some guy wear like your gear and be like Super Nix.
I just powered up, like, all right. I throw a smoke bomb down, like,
get someone to fucking do fog.
Oh man, God. And it's so funny. We were talking about right before we started, like weird. Being weird and like weird being subjective, and man, like you said, the cartoons that we had were super weird, and I think that like shaped our weirdness for sure. Like
much, man.
Growing up watching Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken,
Angry Beavers. Oh my god! And then like kids talk about SpongeBob. I'm like, yeah, SpongeBob was like first aired when I was a freshman in high school. But like I'm talking about like SWAT Cats.
Oh, I remember SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats was dope. Do you remember What a Cartoon?
The name is familiar. Remind me.
So What a Cartoon was like Cartoon Network's like testing the waters. So they had like pilots that they aired.
Was this the first Family Guy thing?
First Family Guy instead of the Powerpuff Girls, it was the Whoop Ass Girls.
Whoop Ass Girls.
Yeah,
I looked that one up.
Yeah, so yeah, that was an interesting one. Johnny Bravo was on there too.
I love Johnny Bravo.
Johnny
Bravo, but like Johnny Bravo today
can't be made at all.
It's so crazy that it that exists. But it's so funny because he's just like he just gets gooned on the whole time, so it's like kind of okay, I guess.
Yeah,
like he's for sure like just being super fucking forward with these women.
Yeah, he's like, hey, baby.
Just ripping his shirt off.
Do you remember, I don't know if you were like reading the internet at the time, but I remember when The Rock was starting it out, they wanted to make a Johnny Bravo movie. And The Rock was going to be Johnny Bravo. Imagine if that movie was made. Who would play the grandma now?
Oh, like, so if that movie's being made right now?
No,
or
like in the 2000s when it was like announced. I say Betty White.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then
that would
the
be
little
perfect.
girl. I'm trying to think who would play like the little, maybe Dakota Fanning, maybe.
Yeah, and they had that crossover from that Witch Mountain movie, right?
Yeah,
that's her, right?
Yeah. I remember that.
Race to Witch Mountain. Never saw the one with Dwayne, but I definitely have seen the original one.
Have you seen the Disney Channel one?
That one. Is that the original or is that
there's one that's even further back that goes to I think it's in the 70s or 80s.
I definitely saw the Disney Channel one.
Yeah, I saw the Disney Channel one too.
That one was awesome. I remember it being good at least. I don't know if it was awesome.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, they touched hands and they glowed. I mean, like you watch those Disney Channel original movies on Disney Plus again, and you're like, damn, like there was a lot of stuff that like was on there like it was kind of weird, like there was strange.
Some good, some bad, and some strange.
Like Up and Away, the kid was like his weakness was tinfoil or like broccoli. He couldn't eat broccoli or something like that.
Was Can of Worms a Disney one?
I think so. Yeah. I also
that one's weird.
I remember Don't Look Under the Bed.
Ooh, that
was creepy.
That one scared me
with the boogeyman. Smart House.
Smart House was great. That was like, I remember thinking about that like as a kid and being like, man, that'd be so crazy if like you could throw all your clothes on the floor and it would just clean it up.
And now all the stuff that's in that fucking movie is like happening now.
Yeah, like
Like
damn near. Like, I mean, we have Siri. Siri is damn near like the same thing as
Smart House.
or Siri and Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
My phone's over here. Like, what the hell's going on? You talking to me?
Smart House was made in 2003, starting blah blah blah. You know?
God. Oh, and you said, dude, Blank Check.
Oh yeah, come on, man. Well,
Blank
that
Check.
wasn't Disney Channel. That was like a movie in the 90s.
Oh, well, Blank Check.
Yeah.
Fucking ruled still.
Still to this day.
I was laughing though because I watched it recently.
Yeah.
And I just laugh at the end of the movie because it's like the kid pretending to be an adult, and like
He blows the candles. He's like, "See you soon."
and then the woman like kisses him, like on the lips too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa.
So when I was a kid, I thought the limo driver was Chris Farley.
I did too. It's like
It's like the
Toxic Waste Chris Farley.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we can't get John Candy. He passed away. Let's get like Farley. We can't get Farley. So he's the next best thing. I think he was also the voice of like Fido Goes West, I think.
Like the cat.
Yeah.
Dude, I love those
I'm not
movies.
sure. Like people will probably in the comment be like, "No, it's not him. It's so and so."
God damn it. We are all over the place at the start of this. Let's start it off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of My Violet Tendencies. It is me, your purple poppy, Marvelous Matt Nix. And I'm joined here by my good friend Tully
Bertorelli.
Bertorelli.
Bertorelli. Bertorelli. Alias Mr. Made for TV.
Then so that was perfect actually because we were talking right before we started here about getting names mispronounced, and I was like, I feel like Italian and like I think any ethnic name
and Hispanic gets the worst.
the worst, but any ethnic name for sure. Like if it looks weird and somebody's like they're gonna mispronounce it like every time.
I mean, my mom's maiden name is Hawes, but people think it's Has, like Charlie or Haas, because it's Hawes. But I think the American will say Haas.
Hash.
You know?
They don't know how to pronounce
Yeah.
or enunciate. I don't know how to enunciate most of the time.
You were like, what? We were talking about how they screwed up your names in Mexico. They said Canex.
But that's not even a Hispanic name. They just fucked that up. And I just thought it was funny.
I gotta ask, why did you add the K to your name?
So I literally just for aesthetics.
Okay.
Just because I thought it looked better
Cool.
than with an N, like Matt. So the name Matt Nix came from my real first name is Nicholas.
Yeah.
Nicolas. My real middle name is Matthew. So I took my middle name, made my first name, made it my last name, the same way that Shawn Michaels did.
Yeah.
And
I was Jack Tully at one point.
Jack Tully's a good one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would just Matt Nick, and then I added the K and the S just because it looked like aesthetically better.
I remember early on I made you a graphic and it was the New York Knicks logo.
Oh yeah,
And I put like Matt above and then it had Knicks with the basketball.
with the basketball in the middle.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I picked the worst wrestling name because
No.
when you search Matt Nix,
Oh, it gives all the NBA players.
you just get fucking New York Knicks anything. I am the hardest wrestler to find, I think.
You know, that's a good thing though. Think about it, because I use my real name. I use Tully Bertorelli. So like, you get the wrestler, you get the actor, and then you get like my shoot job.
So you get it all wrapped up in
So
one.
I get all wrapped up in one. So when
good or bad, right?
Yeah. So when my students look me up, they're like, but by the way, I don't use my real name when I'm at the school. So instead of like Mr. Bertorelli, I'm actually Coach Tully.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Keeping it formal.
And it was really funny. My first year, they put stockings up for the Sikas because I'm a special ed classroom assistant at a high school. And they put up Bertorelli, and everyone's like, who the fuck is Bertorelli? And I'm like,
Who the hell is that guy?
me. And they're like, wait, what? Tully's not your last name? And I'm like, no, it's my first name. I had the choice when I got hired. So I was Mr. Tully, but now I'm just Coach Tully.
I like that. I would,
Yeah.
I would, even if I wasn't a coach and I worked at a school, I'd tell everyone to call me coach.
Yeah, it's the best. And
Call
it's
me
also-
coach.
It's also gender neutral, you know?
Yeah, and all perfect. Yeah,
Because I'm he, they, you know, and I like to, like, I every time I hear Mister, it just, this beard comes more white. And I'm just
or
like.
sir.
Yeah, I hate the word sir.
Dude, I'm younger than you. You're not that much older than me, though,
You're
right?
33?
34.
Yeah, so I'm going to be 37 in a couple days, but yeah, yeah.
But like as a 34-year-old man, getting called sir it just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, just start doing the coach then. Call me coach.
Call me coach or dude. I don't know. Like
Call me Coach Nicholas.
call Coach Kneeks.
But no, it's really interesting because when I coach football and also the drama program, I always tell the kids like this long speech where I'm like, hey, listen, y'all. My name's Coach Tully. Do not call me Mister. Do not call me Sir. I understand that is your upbringing to respect your elders, but just call me Coach.
Right.
The more you call me Mister, this becomes gray.
I think too, like, I feel like with the upbringing, like you said, of it been beating our heads for so long of
Yeah.
being like sir, madam, like this like very formal title of like authority almost. Not even authority, but like like a respect thing. But it's like you're kind of like it's like a little bit you're telling me too much what to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like oh.
And the cool thing too is
I don't mind it. I call everyone sir.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal
I
preference.
say sport or bud, even though they're like older than me. I'm like, what's up, sport? And that's like from just being an old guy, you know, and just saying it all the time. But like my thing is I just think it makes when you work with children, it just brings them in a little bit closer and trust.
Yeah, it's a mutual respect.
Because if they call you like Mr. Bertorelli or Coach Bertorelli, it's just it's more authoritative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Bertorelli. But when you say Coach Tully or Coach,
Hey,
it's
Coach.
it's more close.
Yeah.
And like the kids bond. I mean, like I'm heavily tattooed. I got over 64 tattoos. So like I'm pretty much the cool coach, I guess. I remember my first day I wore long sleeves at work and I rolled them up and like every freshman turned like, you got tattoos? Yeah.
You do have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, I mean, people don't know this. How long have we known each other now? You're going on your...
I would say we've known each other for at least almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
It'll be 15 years. Jesus Christ. It'll be 15 years this March.
Yeah.
Well, no. It's even longer.
You
It
started when you were 18.
Yeah. Or no. Yes, kind of. My first day of training was on my 19th birthday.
That's right.
So technically we have known each other for at least 15 years now.
Yeah.
God. Though I remember it's so funny too, like when we started, and I talk about this shit all the time now, and you know I do.
Well, yeah, we have
the
to.
fucking backyard wrestling shit. And I remember like when we went into training, we were so like we were always told oh, don't talk about the backyard wrestling stuff because like people get like weird about it, and like there was like one day where you were just you kind of scared us because you were like, you guys aren't a bunch of fucking yarders, aren't you? And we were like,
Yeah.
no,
I was a dick back then. Come on, what's a admit?
Okay, we thought. I mean, genuinely, like we figured you were like probably just messing with us,
Yeah.
and it, like especially being like rookies, like
Yeah.
you get the occasional. Well, sometimes it was more than occasional, but
Yeah.
occasional hazing and stuff, and to an extent, hazing in wrestling, I guess, however you want to put it, like there is a sense of camaraderie when it comes to a little bit of teasing. It's when it gets out of
Yeah.
hand and
I
inappropriate.
remember
That's
when
bad.
you
but-
told me that you were a yarder when we were talking online once. You're like, hey, heads up, like, kayfabe this, brother. I'm actually a backyarder, and also I'm gonna like wrestle with like, and I'm like, oh, cool, man. Just be careful about it, because like it's the unspoken thing, Now like it's weird now because we're both like, I really don't like the word veteran for me, because like I just like to say I'm a dude
just
that's been
seasoned.
around it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, because like I'm not like I think a veteran should be a guy like yourself who's been overseas and everything like that, has a little dance with with the bigger company, but like I honestly think I'm just a guy that's just been around it. So when kids come up to me, they're like, "Oh, sir," I'm like, first off, don't call me sir, but like, just say Coach or Tully, But I think now it's just different. Wrestling to now breaking in is so different. I mean, like, dude,
Oh,
we
100%.
broke into a warehouse with no bathroom, and the floor had cardboard on it, man.
Dude, when we showed up, we thought we were gonna get robbed the first day.
Dude, when I first broke in, so I broke in at Fantasy Camp 2006 at Windy City Wrestling.
Shout out Windy City.
Shout out Windy City.
Original Windy City.
Yeah, original Windy City on the south side. But before that, I was going to train at Melrose Park with the Turbo Twins at World Wrestling Zone.
Oh, shoot. Shout out the Turbo Twins.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your
Yeah.
conversation, but those were the first independent wrestling shows that I ever went to. Were
You
those
went to
shows.
World Wrestling Zone?
Yep.
Were you at the one at Taft High School then, where the main event was the Road Warriors against Adrenaline and Venom, which later was Keith Walker?
No, but that sounds insane.
That was my first ever wrestling show ever. The semi-main was Iron Mike Sampson. For those that don't know who Iron Mike is, he was like the guy in Windy City back then, against D'Lo Brown.
Shout out D'Lo.
Yeah, and I got to hang out with D'Lo for a bit, and then I will always remember this because I got to meet Road Warrior Hawk, and I called him Animal. And my friend's like, "You dumbass! That's Hawk!" And he imitated Animal to make me feel better. And like I had long hair at the time, which was funny, which I don't have anymore. But like,
I was gonna say.
yeah, I got the horseshoe sometimes, the Buzz Sawyer as I call it. But like, it was so funny. But yeah, I was gonna go there, but I got lost on MapQuest to find the school.
Oh.
Because we didn't have...
Dude, MapQuest. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like,
For those that don't know MapQuest,
Jesus.
you had to print out directions to find this fucking place.
yep.
And I got lost. And then, like, throughout my high school career, like, I kept on calling Sam up and just asking for advice. And then one day I got, like, a letter in the mail for Fantasy Camp. And he's like, you should come to one of our shows before you check out the school. I forgot to go, so I went to World Wrestling Zone instead. And then I did Fantasy Camp. But then... this is the crazy thing. So, like, I was committed to play college ball, and AWA Slam at the time had a seminar with Colt Cabana
Hey.
for $50.
Whoa.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. I get a phone call. I was the only one that signed up.
Really?
And they're like, hey, do you want to check out the school? And I'm like, wait, you guys have a school? Like, yeah, it's on Narragansett, which went to be,
Oh,
the north side location.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just really funny. They plopped the AWA tag belt at me, and like that was the first time I ever like marked out to something. And they're like, "Do you know what this is?" And I like was like, "Oh yeah, like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty like won that at AWA. They were the Midnight Rockers." And like my dad's like, "He's an encyclopedia," and like Ray, God rest his soul, and Buddha were like, yeah, we can tell, And I was like, but I couldn't do it with them because I was going to play football at Bridgeton Academy, and and then when I was 20. I kept in touch with I kept in touch of what was going on in the Chicago scene, and then I kept in touch with Boz, and when I was 20, on and off, just coming back from school and just training with him for a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we met. Was with at Narragansett, Boz training there at the War Slam Dojo.
They call it the Slam Dojo or the Beware the House or the Pierport Business.
Dude, there was... I remember the rats that lived in that building. Actual rats, like giant dog-sized rats.
Yeah. I remember my brother dropped me off at training one time, and I always explain this to a lot of people. You remember like WCW, NWO, like Revenge?
Oh yeah.
Remember the intro with like the thunder?
Yes, with
with Sting popping up.
What?
So imagine that, but with Steve Boz instead of Sting. So like my brother's like, so who is this guy? Thunder like strikes. Boz appears in a tank top and like Adidas pants and like,
not
jorts. Brother, let's go. And just we went in there and yeah, it was a fun time,
God,
I had a lot of fun memories there. I mean, like I remember when TJ Steele first came in.
Oh yeah, yeah. He started with us, with our group. I think with me, Craig, Sutra, Castro, Olson, and Scarlett.
And also, I think, wasn't it Rocket? Yeah, Rivera was with you guys, too, for a little bit.
Yeah. He trained with us for a bit over there. I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And then what was the little guy's name who was a spot monkey?
Olson?
Not Olson. No, I'm not calling Olson a spot monkey. The other guy.
Oh, Alex Romero.
Yeah, Alex Romero. I remember his mom used to pick him up all the time.
Yeah, he was coming all the way from Kenosha.
And he was like 16.
I know. I think he's still wrestling too. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
talked to
back
him.
into it, yeah.
I talk to him occasionally. I don't have Facebook anymore, so but my Messenger still works. So
Yeah.
if you want to talk to me, you can still message me.
You can follow me on Messenger
Yeah.
for all my updates. But then, yeah, it was a fun time. I mean, like, I always remember the flame background when you, like, walk into, like, with the blue and red flame.
It was so cheesy looking, but
But it
like
was so cool. Dude,
perfect for wrestling.
perfect for wrestling and perfect for teenagers. And, like, you
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, oh, my God, this is so cool.
All the pictures on the walls, and I'm
with,
like,
all the guys that did it, like, Doug being fatal,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, man.
Shout out to Doug.
Yeah, shout out Doug, dude. He's
But
a
it was
real
so
one.
cool back then, and now, but like now, guys, I feel like in girls and thems that are breaking in don't really get to have that experience because, like we said before, the bullying thing has calmed down, the hazing's gone. I remember, I think it was either you or Castro. We were doing a show for War for Nikki Sixx, and you guys were just setting up the ring. I think at the time.
Was this at the Pyramid Club?
Yeah, and I remember, I think
Yeah.
I went up to you because I just turned 21. I was like, "Hey, buy me a beer." And you're like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember...
I don't think I could have.
Because you told me that. You're like, dude, I'm 19. I'm like, damn it.
That's what I was like, no.
And then I remember, like, because, like, I broke in. I was 20, but I looked... This is how I always looked, you know?
You literally look like you have not aged a day since the day I met you, honestly.
Except more tattoos.
Except
probably.
more tattoos.
Yeah. But it was just hilarious. I remember Brendan Blaze always asked me to get him a Bud Light. And I used to buy the boys a beer because that was like customary back then. Buy the guys a beer after the show, you know? And that tradition's gone.
Yeah.
Because more people are sober or straight edge. Or
Yeah, it's just, it's different now. I remember I definitely have gotten in trouble
Yeah.
from just, and honestly just being stupid and not understanding the hierarchy.
all stupid. I
And
mean,
just people being like, "Hey, buy me a drink or whatever," and I was like, "Oh yeah, totally," and I just
don't
walk
do
away.
it. Yeah. Hey,
And they're
did
like,
you
"This
give me
fucking-
that double Jack and Coke?
This fucking asshole! What the fuck does he think?" And
Yeah.
I'm just like, it. Honestly, I swear to God, not me being an asshole, just totally oblivious.
We all owe guys beers. So if I owed you a beer, let me know, old guard.
We'll buy you
Yeah.
we'll buy you a liquid death.
Yep. But it's so funny because, like, yeah, like, I always thought the Pyramid Club was cool.
Oh, I love those shows, man.
Yeah.
Especially when it was packed there.
Oh, yeah.
Look, those crowds were like, because it was like a cool little setup, like where the nightclub area was, and they had the screens, and like it got really fucking rowdy in there.
Yeah.
And then just hanging out at Pyramid Club afterwards was always kind of fun, and they
Yeah.
had good food.
I remember when, actually last year, I was talking to a kid because I saw him put it on his gear, and he had established 2006 on his gear, and I was like, "Hey kid, why do you got established 2006? Is that when you broke in?" He's like, "No, that's how I was born." I'm like, and I'm like, "What? I graduated
Oh.
high school." And then I talked to him, and then I talked to his dad, and he's like, "Wait, you used to do Pyramid Club? I know Steve." And like, I was like, "Wait a second, you?" And he's like, "Yeah, Jack Fowler and Eddie Grayson used to watch you when they were 3 years old." And I'm like, shout out to those guys.
Yeah,
But
Okay,
holy shit, that's an old moment.
I met his dad at a galley show recently, and a similar
Yeah.
situation, and I was like, it just like didn't make sense.
It didn't register until I'm like, wait, what?
It didn't make sense. I'm like, ooh, what?
Yeah.
And now they're wrestling and doing cool stuff.
Yeah, Jack Fowler was on AAW Live.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, he's busting his ass. And that's like the thing now with like wrestling. Like, I mean, back in the day, they used to tell us to like beef up and everything like that. But like, I mean, like hell, like I used to pick on you for your size.
100%.
Like you're 130. You're in tights. You look like the Fan. You know. But like,
And at the time I didn't get it, but I understand it more now. And it's like you said, it's not about getting as big and bulky and shit.
Right.
It's more just like look like an athlete and just look like
look like you're in the room. You know.
yeah,
Like,
look like you stand out. And it's not even necessarily to be like don't look like one of the fans, but like just look interesting. You
Yeah.
know, that should be it.
Well,
Because
you also evolved. I mean, like people don't know this. I used to hate this guy for a long time, as you remember. You remember?
like shoot hate me.
I was jealous of you for the dumbest reason. I was just jealous.
Dang.
You know, I think I told you that at UIC though, right?
Did we? I feel like
I was just jealous because you kept on going everywhere, and I was just stuck at like doing like these like shindies.
Well, we got in trouble for doing stuff, and then we were like told that we couldn't come back or something.
Yeah. But like at the same time, like I appreciate. This guy's just been busting his ass doing what he does. I mean, like look where you're at now, you know. But I remember like we used to talk all the time, and I remember I found those Illusia tights that looked like Chicago tights.
I still
and
have
I was
those.
like, yo, dude, like this looks like Chicago. I was like, I have an idea. And like this guy used to put business cards on the front row just for followers, and I was like, at the time, I was like, oh, that's stupid. That's the smartest thing to do to get followers. Rookies, take notes, you know, like.
Dang.
But like, yeah, man, like it was just cool to see that, you know, man. And like where you're at now, like you're working for, you know, PWT, and you've had your little stint doing like work. Who gets to say they got to wrestle Cody Rhodes? You know?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy things that don't feel real sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Like I've wrestled a lot of old guards, which I really is amazing that I get to say I got to work a lot of the old guard of the Midwest, which was really cool. But like I never wrestled on TV, and I remember like talking to like guys that, you know, like Al Snow, and be like, "Hey man, I would love to be an enhanced worker," and he would look at me like, "Dude, they're not looking for guys that look like you to enhance." The day and age of like being a carpenter, they don't look for that. They look for a guy to put in context as you, you know,
like a punching bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I guess I'm like, what if I eat like a deep dish pizza before my match so I look fat, you know?
Just come out to the ring eating the pizza.
Yeah, eat the pizza while I get my ass kicked by Braun Strowman or fucking Bronson Reed, you know? But like, it's so different now because like all shapes and sizes, and like the whole thing with the reel, you know, like the little like 5-second clip can get you over.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like wrestling with unicorns is killing it with those guys.
The name of the game is, excuse me, carbonated water, maybe.
Yeah.
The name of the game has changed because like it's less about, and not that it's less about, you know, full match media and stuff like that, because like promoters definitely still watch full matches. So
Yeah.
don't think we don't. But to like getting your talent out there, or your talent, because that's what you're promoting is your talent. Getting it out there in the quickest possible way because of the way social media has evolved is like pertinent to your success now. And you know, being able to and honestly being able to edit your own stuff, and you know, making personal connections with people online, and just having like daily content that people can like, you know, have in repetition, like be expecting. Like, you know, I've been slacking, but I've been doing stupid little like fit check videos every day.
I see them all the time. Your Instagram pops up a lot in my feed. So
Yeah.
like with like, I'm wearing this T-shirt today. Look at my hoodie. Like, but the thing is this, it grabs a taste to the fan. They see behind the scenes, but also it gets a new viewer. I mean, dude, last year I went viral for Santa Claus and Jesus.
Dude, okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
That was the best.
But like at the same time, like that was the first time I ever, like, I mean, like I have one other clip that got some buzz. I pounced one of the guys from Wisconsin. It's not Josiah, but it's his partner. They're called TAOW, like the towel, like the. Oh man, they're gonna hate me when I mispronounce it because I don't want to butcher it. But I pounced his partner.
Did he go out of the ring?
Not like you did with Willie, but close. But like it went, like it was on Wrestling with Unicorns, and it went like 1,500 views, and I'm like, holy shit! So I decided, like, well, fuck it, fuck the lariat now. I'm gonna pounce motherfuckers.
I'm a pouncer, guys.
Yeah, and like it's just interesting with that. That's how it's becoming, you know. And then some people have seen some stuff I've done, which I think is always interesting. It was like, oh man, I've seen you wrestle before. I'm like, oh, where?
Yeah. But like I do that, and especially nowadays too, like for me, because I don't wrestle very often anymore, but like somebody will be like, oh, like I never expect anybody to be like, I know who you are, just because like that was something that I always remember from training.
Yeah.
Like whenever they would tell you like go out there and perform to the crowd with the mindset that this is everyone's first time seeing you.
Yeah.
And that always just sticks in the back of my head. So much so to the point where I just assume every single time I go out there, it's everyone's first time seeing me.
Yeah, you have to. You have to you have to pull in the fans. Because the thing is this, and I will give you credit for this. I remember when you used to come out to LMFO and you had the hair, you had the glasses, and it got over. Why?
The Party
because
Rock.
everyone could relate to Party Rock at the time.
I think that was a Steve Boz idea, I believe.
Really?
I'll shout out Steve Boz for that one.
Nice.
This is better than some of the other pitches, but
Yeah, so Prince Mustafa Ali Jr. or like Evil Ali.
yeah, no, and that was fun. It was fun to go out there and you know what? It actually, because I started, like most people when they start wrestling, you start wanting to be like, I'm going to be the wrestler guy. My favorite wrestlers, like my top 2 favorite wrestlers, especially when I started, was Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. So I wanted to be like those guys. But more specifically Bryan Danielson, and I had the maroon and white gear.
Yep. With
and
the
I wanted,
gold.
yeah, I wanted to be like a more technical wrestler, and then doing the Party Rock thing and switching to like, pink and all the, the bandana and the fake glasses. Joke's on me because now I actually have to wear glasses.
Bring it back. One night only. Party Rock.
But it forced me to like be different, like, and to be like it forced me to come out of my shell and be more comfortable, like being goofy in front of a crowd.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, like I mean, people would like to call me the man with 1,001 characters or man with 1,001 gimmicks, because what I used to do is I would show up to shows and just try a different gimmick. I used to wear a wig,
dude. And I love that. That's like something I love about you, because literally, like, and especially in the last couple times I've seen you, it's been like different iterations of you. Like literally, we did the show down at was it U of I or ISU?
UIC, yeah.
Yeah, Urbana, and it was like a lucha show. And it was like you, but with like lucha mask, and like, dude, the mask was so sick. I wish it would have. I wish it didn't
like break apart because I got so mad because I'm at my house like making it, taking an old mask and like altering it a little bit so it doesn't look like another like. I don't want to piss off the old guard of lucha, you know.
Oh yeah, man, how dare you make this mask look like shit?
Yeah, how dare you take a blue demon mask and fucking alter it with fringe? How dare you and add some letters there? But like, it's like trial and error. I mean, I did that. I did the Brexit gimmick, if you remember that, where I had the bulldog old gear, where I had like the UK flag with Brexit. And everyone's like, "What's Brexit?" I'm like, man, when I heard that from like the back, I was like, okay, I can't really be Brexit because no one knows what Brexit is because everyone's so dumb in wrestling, you know? I thought it was a dope name. I thought Baron von Brexit was cool. Originally, it was going to be Charles Brexit, but then there was a guy named Uncle Charlie that was on the show, so I had to change the name. And I wanted my character to be like this like British dictator, but also like Charles Bronson, you know?
Okay.
That's what I was going for with that one. And then I remember doing unibrow once where I made my face red and I drew a unibrow on my head, you know, and like...
You just called unibrow?
Unibrow.
Oh,
Unibrow.
Did you come out with like with like the fucking hat and stuff?
No,
like,
I
like
just basically had like red face paint. I had like go-go shorts I got at Beatniks because that's where I used to get like some like gear.
Yeah.
Shout out to Beatniks. And then like... Yeah, I did that. I did El Tully Moostro or Tully Monster because it's the Illinois State fossil, you know?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like what can stick to the wall. I did like Tedrick Tower. Chuck Tower is just a big dude, but like I was like trying to think of different names that would, and then I would try gimmicks that would just try to stick on the wall. And then finally, big shout out to my buddy John Bullard. He was like, "Hey man, I want to use you, but like I don't want you to be the 11th one of the world." And I'm like, "Okay," because that was like the last moniker I did in Indiana. He's like, "I want you to be something different." I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to be?" He's like, "I want you to be Mr. Made for TV, Tully Bertorelli." And I'm like, I don't get, like, huh? He's like, "Dude, what do you do for a living?" I'm like, "I'm an actor. I used to do stunts." He's like, "Yeah. How many guys can say that?" And I'm like, not that many. Not many. What are you getting at? And so he's like, "I want you to be an actor trying to be a pro wrestler." And I'm like, okay. And so I'm trying to think of myself, like, how am I going to do this? And one day, I was watching Simpsons.
Shout out Simpsons.
Yeah. And Troy McClure came on. Phil Hartman did the whole, hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might have seen me on such movies as blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hi, I'm Tully Bertorelli. I'm Mr. Made for TV. You might have seen me on such shows as Chicago PD, Empire, and Fargo. And coming soon to a theater near you, Weekend Getaway. And we're like, holy shit, I have a fucking catchphrase. And now I start doing the whole, after I end every promo, I'm like, same Tully time, same Tully channel. Like, and I was like, oh,
I like that. That's fun.
This is silly. I can do this. And then it's funny when people are like, oh, you're just a wannabe Miz. I'm like, dude, Google me. And then when they Google me, they see my IMDb and they see my credits and they see the Pine Sol commercial. And then they see the Weekend Getaway clip. Like, oh, this isn't like a gimmick. This is real.
Yeah, you probably got more credits than the Miz.
Yeah. But
pull the stats up right now.
He still does the Marines movies, you know?
You know what? Guilty pleasure. I like those Marines movies.
I do too. I still like the John Cena one, especially with the one line. He looks like the Terminator.
Oh, the first he was the first one.
Yeah.
Dude, the first one is actually low-key a good movie.
Yeah, it is. As Evil T-1000 doing that line, it was great. But like, and then I started being like, okay, I'll do that. And then I was like trying to think of like, what can I do to be different from the guys? And I was like, okay, like, why not just be a throwback to like, I mean, we all go back in time to do stuff. Why not I just wear trunks that are high waist? Who in the area wears high waist? Who wears oxblood boots? And I wore oxblood because I like maroon because of like Daniel Bryan and William Regal and like all that stuff. But also like oxblood is such that punk color that like no one wears that. So when they see those boots, a lot of guys are like, oh, that's really old school, you know? And like, I like to throw a little new school and old school element to it.
It's good because not too many people are really touching back on a lot of the older stuff. And it's great because, like you said, you can cherry pick from different things and use it current day, and people are going to be like, whoa,
yeah,
well, that's crazy.
Well,
and
that's why
like,
I love watching like a lot of old school stuff because I will watch like an old tape and I'll be like, I'm going to do that in my match. And then I'll talk to my opponent and be like, hey, let's watch this match. We're not going to steal this match, but we're just going to do some stuff of like the element of it.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I always tell the young students too, like, find yourself, but like, if you're stuck, if you're like, oh, I can't be myself, like, then find a character that you liked back then and reinvent it with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have a kid that's a huge CM Punk fan, and I told him, like, dude, call yourself Doc Martin. You know?
I like that.
Only punks will know the reference, but like, you call yourself Doc Martin, it's a punk.
My name's Doc Martin, and I'm going to stomp you out.
Exactly.
There you go. Don't steal that.
Go for it.
Go for it, yeah. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah.
Actually, know what? Welcome to the Doc Martin Show. I'm your host,
We're
Doc
going to
Martin.
review different docs.
Dude, no, you know who? Shout out Taffy, one of our friends. She used to work for Hot Topic. She has Doc Martin like sandals.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, that is crazy, and they're pretty sweet. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't really like wear sandals. I got flip flops that I wear, but yeah, no. Shout out those Doc Martin
I
sandals.
am still trying to find the high boots of the Docs, the cherry reds, because when I get them, I want to alter them to wrestling shoes. Because I always thought cherry red was another cool color.
That would be, I bet you could find that on like eBay or something. No,
So hard.
expensive
Because
too,
they're
I
like
bet.
$400. And I'm like, I do not have that kind of money. If you want to donate to my fund, you can follow me on Instagram at Tully Bertorelli to pay for my boot fund.
Boot fund.
But no, like I like that's the way I look at it. Like when I was doing the whole leather vest thing, when I was altering my leather vest for a little bit, I was like, no one wears kind of that look, you know, except Gnarls Garvin, you know, who is a good friend of mine.
Shout out Nose.
You know, shout out to Beef. But like at the same time, I try to take stuff from back then that I can do now, you know. But yeah, it's always fun. But like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's go into that then. Like, so you said your real life job is an actor, and
Well, yeah, it's my passion.
that's fucking awesome. And that's like, I'll say this. I laugh at like when not when people from outside of wrestling try to get into wrestling, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'll just like get into wrestling, and I'm always just like, oh yeah, you're just gonna get into wrestling, right? Just that.
Yeah, just
that
do
easy?
it for like 2 years and then quit.
It's just that easy, right? But then I'm like, on the other side of it, I'm like, oh man, I would love to get into acting. Like that's so much fun. And I'm like, it didn't dawn on me that like it's probably the way I was talking about wanting to get into acting was probably super disrespectful. But like not disrespectful, but like just totally unaware of like that. It's like no, it's gonna be the same. You gotta like work your way in or whatever.
Life. I mean, I can go into detail about my like upbringing, man. Growing up in the city, I used to host teen open mics at Old Town School Folk Music, so that's how I learned how to talk on the shtick. I used to do wrestling promos in the crowd and have them boo at me. I used to do stand up like as a teenager too, and then like when I after I did Bridgeton Academy, I went to Lynn University and I studied theater. But originally, I was supposed to be a cartoon animator.
Really?
Because art is like another passion of mine. Like I love drawing. It's like one of my favorite things to do. I do pen and marker a lot. And I remember I was in a dinner at my college, and we were all going around what we want to do. And I say, well, one of these days I like to be a cartoon voice actor. And the teacher looks at my like resume. He's like, I think you're in the wrong major. So I took an acting class, and within like 2 weeks I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And like I decided to be a theater major because I wanted to be a better talker in the ring. And I remember telling that to my mentor, and he's like, God, that's the stupidest reason why you want to be a theater major.
See, it's stupid from an outsider's perspective,
Yeah.
but when you're inside the brain of a psychopath like us, like if you want to be in wrestling, you're a little bit of a psychopath, and you're doing the meme with all the numbers and shit that's going on in your head, and you're like, okay, I'm planning out my entire life as to how it's going to correlate with how it's going to affect me with wrestling. It makes sense.
It does make sense, but also you don't realize too that like
how much
time you take.
Yeah.
I mean, like I tell people all the time this when people ask me like, what advice do you have? I'm like, trust the process, enjoy the journey. Trust the process, enjoy the journey. This is a craft that we do that takes a long time. Some of us can get easily noticed, but the ones that been there forever, we're still doing it because we trust this process that we're going to have highs and lows like yourself, like myself, as an actor, I didn't start getting a lot of stuff until last year, man. I mean, like, yeah, I was doing stunt work on like Chicago PD. I appeared on Empire a bunch. I got killed on Fargo. I worked on Power Book 4-Force. Yeah, my eye sucks to this day. It's this one right here. It doesn't blink. No, I'm kidding.
My eye.
But, and I also did a movie with Machine Gun Kelly and a movie with Dolph Lundgren. But like, at the same time, I had wrestling in the back of my mind because I was like, well, this is something to do, at the time being. I mean, I studied improv and everything like that at IO. But I remember when, like, I moved back to Chicago and I would, like, figure out what I wanted to do next, I would still have wrestling there. And I would go to these parties, and people would always nickname me the Wrestler.
Just because you looked like you were.
Well, they look at me like, oh, yeah, you're a wrestler.
Oh, that guy's a wrestler.
That guy's a wrestler.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially with like being well-spoken and confident on the microphone and stuff like that. And you've always been like a bigger dude. Like, oh, yeah, wrestler vibes for sure.
Yeah. But it's really funny now because I just graduated from Vagabond School of the Arts, their conservatory program. Shout out to them. Great program if anyone wants to take classes. They really do a great camera program. And the thing I really enjoyed about it, it really made me realize that, like, yeah, I'm an actor, but I'm also a wrestler. And it took me years to realize that because when I was going in through the ropes as a youngin' in wrestling and going to improv auditions, going to play auditions, going to not really movie auditions yet, but like people will look at my resume and they're like, oh, you're a wrestler? Can you put my friend in a headlock? Can you chop my friend? And I used to do it all the time, thinking, I was gonna get it. And then I didn't get it, and now I realize that when someone asks me to do that, I'm like, nah, man, just come to class.
Yeah, it's you realize that they're not that they're laughing at you, but they're just like, oh
yeah, like, come on, monkey, come on,
do the wrestling moves.
Come on, put my friend in the master lock. Come on, put my friend in an airplane spin. And
I will say the only time that I was very happy to oblige doing that was a time when we got pulled over, and the cops were like pulled us out of the car to search the car, and they
found title belts.
They found title belts, and then they were like asking us, "How do you do moves?" So I had to I demonstrated on the side of the road how to properly execute a pile driver for 2 state police officers. So don't tell me I don't love wrestling.
I got pulled over once, and I used the line, "Hey, I work for Dick Wolf," which works. That's the person that does Law and Order. Chicago PD.
Dun, dun.
And Chicago PD, and the guy's like, "Cool, I don't watch the show. You're still getting a ticket." I thought it would work. Sorry, Andy.
That's great.
Yeah, but like now, like I mean, like when people like meet me, they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an actor." Like, "No, what do you also do?" I'm like, I'm a man of many hats. Like, I'm Santa. I'm also a professional wrestler." And they're like, before they get into Santa, like, "Yeah, you look like a wrestler." Like, I'm the airport check. Like, "Yeah, that's a pro wrestler."
Yeah.
Or that guy looks like he played pro football, which was not the case, But it's really funny when the kids find out what you do.
Oh, the kids that you
Yeah,
at the
and
school?
they all know. They all know. I mean, the whole school knows what I do for a living too
Yeah.
on the weekends. And it's really funny because how I do it is I tell the football kids after camp what I do. Because sometimes I have a show like at Lucha Libre in the park.
Oh,
that
yeah,
they all
yeah,
can
yeah.
go to, which is a free event. I'm like, this is the only time you can tell coach to fuck off. Because if you tell me to fuck off in class or on the field, by God, you're doing squats. But this year, my nephew goes to the school. Shout out to my buddy, my nephew. And first day of camp, he tells all the kids, like all the freshmen. And I'm like, "Tyler." And I'm like, "Come here." He's like, "What is it, coach?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Why are all the kids knowing that I wrestle?" And he's like, "Oh, we tell them after camp." He's like, "Why is that?" 3 kids come up to me. "Do you know CM Punk? What's your finisher? Like, what's your ring name?" And I'm like, "We're going to play a game. We'll talk this after camp. Yes, I know CM Punk. My finisher's the pounce, but we will talk football after practice, not during practice." "Well, why is that, coach?" I'm like, "I need you to lock in. I need you to focus. We can talk about my cool shit later." And then, of course, I was like, if I catch you guys asking me anything during practice, it's a lap. New kid comes up to me. He's like, "I heard you're a wrestler. What's your finisher?" I'm like, "That's one."
Everybody,
And they're like, "Oh, come on, fucking Scooter. What the fuck?"
shout out Scooter.
Yeah. But it's fun being a coach, Because like after practice, the guys will ask me about like, "Oh, did you see the Royal Rumble, coach? Like, what did you think of it?" And it's cool to have like that camaraderie, and then it brings them closer that like you can talk stuff with them. And it's not like the authority figure. It's like he's coach.
Yeah. You're more on their level.
Yeah.
In a sense that they feel like it's they feel comfortable kind of
Yeah.
being around.
Like this year for the pep rally, I mean, I usually host the pep rallies at the school. I dressed up as Ultimate Warrior. I had the Ultimate Warrior face paint. I did not try to go so indigenous, but I tried to make it just enough that we don't get like a
cease
like
and desist.
But yeah, and I also came out to like In Living Color, CM Punk's music because all the kids know CM Punk.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Well, I actually have a watch on.
There you go.
It's clobbering time. It's actually 7:23. I don't know. That was funny.
But yeah, man, it's just really fun to work with kids, man, and stuff like that. I think it's been my favorite day job I've ever had, minus bartending.
Oh yeah, I used to coach for the Badger Wrestling Club, like a youth wrestling program. Shout out Coach Joe Phelan.
Yeah.
The guy's been coaching wrestling for like well over 20 years. He was like my coach growing up, and then when I graduated high school, I stayed on as a coach, like over there, and was doing that while also wrestling.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk about the wrestling, but Joe would tell everyone. So, and he would do it to the point where he would like, "Hey, do you know this kid's a wrestler?" And I'd be like, "Shut up! I don't
Shut up, coach.
I was like, "I hate talking about it."
Yeah.
But nah, dude, he's he's always been super proud of me, and like I loved like coaching there as well because like it like, if anything, like I felt like it made me a better wrestler in the sense that like breaking down how to like get into a wrestling stance. And I coached like the little kids. I was coaching like the 6 and unders.
Yeah.
So like teaching a toddler how to like get into a wrestling stance and then the mechanics of like doing a shot and then like, everything you kind of like you're relearning wrestling almost as you're kind of saying
Yeah,
it.
and it's really cool. Like, you can relate, like the kids, like even though you have the little kids, you're making an impact. You're giving back. You're giving back, and good karma will come back to you, and everything like that. Like when I'm doing football with the kids, yes, I'm that crazy maniac. When I'm on the line, I let the kids hit me with their pads.
Hell yeah.
Because I look at them like, you're not going to take me down. And they would talk so much shit, and then I would pounce them, and they're like, holy crap, coach. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you bench 415, like.
They're just like,
Yeah, like, get up, guys. But, like, and it's just really, I think it's, like, the best thing that if anyone ever wants to experience, like, the coolest high, because I'm sober over 5 years now, it's, like, the best thing for me to give back in that way of just showing these kids and just what I want to get at with my football guys and my drama kids is I want to give them something to escape. We're now in a world that it's like we're in one weird, I don't know what to call it anymore.
we are in the darkest timeline.
Yeah, we're in the dark ages. But with the world going on right now, but I just want to have these kids to have something that's just not the cell phone.
We got to be the bright spots in the world that's dark right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we have to be colorful for them because, like, I realize with this generation that they don't know, and they think they know because they had to be on a laptop for 2 years and they can easily turn it off, Mm-hmm. And to bring, like, I'm the coach that does, like, motivational speech. Like, I'm the motivator. I'll take a line from, like, Denzel Washington, like, from Remember the Titans, or I'll find, like, a quote from, like, The Replacements, or I'll tell the kids to watch The Replacements and stuff like that, just to get them motivated, or play that Any Given Sunday speech with Al Pacino, like, but the kids don't quite get it until they hear it from your mouth. Like, one of my favorite tattoos that I have that I can't show on the air, but I have the high school logo I work for. I have it tattooed on my leg because I made a bet with them. Because, like, when the pandemic when we opened the doors, they were the worst team. I became a coach the following year, and I made a bet with them. I said, hey, if you get 3 wins, I'll get the logo, your high school logo, tattooed on my leg. 5 wins, I'll get it on my rib cage. If you're 9-0 this year, I will get a neck tattoo of the high school logo. The head coaches look at me like, what the
Adrenaline in the soul.
And the coach comes up to me afterwards and he says, you're really going to get a neck tattoo for 9-0? I'm like, dude, I just want them to win. They became 4-5 that year, and I got it on my leg.
Hey.
So I'm the only coach at the school that has, like, the Wildcat logo tattooed on me.
Hell yeah. Shout out Wildcats.
Yeah. Not High School Musical, even though it's the same colors.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together. That's the only part of the song I remember.
I don't remember High School Musical.
I know
I
that
was in
one.
high school when that happened.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was like, High School Musical is so lame. But, like, I secretly love musicals.
We all do.
I still do. But I'm way more fucking proud about it. I sing to the top of my lungs.
I have Gravity on repeat if I have to be motivated.
It's so funny because I have not seen Wicked, but I love that song.
Bring tissues when you see it, because it made this guy cry. I will admit it.
I mean, it doesn't take much to make me cry when I'm watching a movie. So I was getting fucking misty eyed watching. There was some fucking dog food commercial that came on, and it was just like. It literally was just like a time lapse over the dog's, like, their life, and then being like, you could feed this to your dog forever, and I'm just like, the dog grew up and now it's old.
I remember 3 times I've cried. The first time is when G Baby died in Hardball. The second time was Crazy Rich Asians, the wedding scene.
I have not seen that, but
yeah, I don't know why I was crying. It was when I was in my first real time of being sober and clear-minded. I was like, why am I crying? What is this feeling? You're just sensitive, bro. It happens. And then the third time was watching Wicked with that scene of Gravity, just because, like, holy cow.
It's a powerful song.
Yeah.
It really is. I definitely want to watch it. I'm trying to think what... I mean, I cry from fucking every movie, but, like, definitely... Dude, G-Baby. Oh.
Yeah, come on, man.
G-Baby. Dude, have you seen Coco?
I have not seen Coco yet.
Coco ruins me every single time. You know what else does? Interstellar.
Oh, that last scene with Matthew McConaughey and everything like that, where he's like crying, he's looking through the lens.
When they come back from the planet with with the water and stuff, and he's like watching all the videos of his kids. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, ruins me. But it's such a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
So if you have never seen Interstellar, watch Interstellar.
And if you are from Chicago, what's wrong with you? Rent Hardball.
Yeah, dude, my boss has my boss, shout out Ryan Barkin, owner of Pro Wrestling Tees, 1 Hour Tees. He collects a lot of random shit, like random cool shit. But he collects signed jerseys, but from sports movies.
Oh, cool.
So he has a signed G-Baby jersey.
That's hilarious. My friend at high school, shout out to Brendan Avery, was the double for the kid that danced the Big Papa dance.
Oh, really?
That's my buddy Brandon doing the pitch.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I went to high school with him. Not the actor, but the guy that doubled him.
Yeah. But that's such like a random connection.
And then when I worked at Dairy Queen, fun fact, my boss met Keanu Reeves at Cubby Bear once.
Whoa.
Yeah. Cool dude though.
Dude, I would love. He's like one of the few celebrities that I would be like, I actually would want to meet him. I like short list of people because I don't really like get starstruck, but like for sure, like Keanu Reeves, and then like I think Jack Black, and then I don't know. There's like very few people that I would be like, I'd actually really want to meet them.
I would love to met Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken.
Okay.
And Harrison Ford. I don't really get starstruck as much anymore. The only time I really got struck was last year when I did the Pine Sol commercial, because I didn't think the Pine Sol lady was going to be there.
Oh, shit.
And then all of a sudden I hear from a voice, "Hey, everybody, I'm back." And I turn around and I'm like, holy fucking shit, it's the fucking Pine Sol lady. My friend at the time was like, "What's wrong, man? It's just," I'm like, "Do you understand who the fuck that is? That's my childhood, goddamn. It's Pine Sol, baby." You know, like, that was like holy shit moment for me. And then like getting the line was even more the holy shit moment of like being like, "Thank you, Pine Sol lady." Like,
you got
passing that.
You got to say her name.
Yeah.
You're talking to her.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
I'm in the Pine Sol universe.
Yeah. You guys are connected in the Pine Sol verse.
I swear to God, they probably casted me because I looked like Mr. Clean.
As like a dig at Mr. Clean?
Yeah.
We even got Mr. Clean on our side.
I wrestled as Mr. Clean once, too.
I fucking bet. What the fuck? Oh, Danny DeVito.
Oh, that would be great, yeah. Michael Keaton.
Okay, yeah.
Just because I want him just to end it with, like, "Can you just say it?" And it'd be like, "Oh, God, I don't want to say it. Just say it, man. I'm Batman."
I'm Batman.
And then ask him about Duplicity, which is a great underrated Michael Keaton movie. But
nice.
No, I mean, like, when I worked with Empire, I got to meet Felicia Rashad from The Cosby Show. That was Bill Cosby's wife. That was the mom. I got to meet Wood Harris from Remember the Titans, and all in my head I'm thinking of, like, strong side, soft side, you know. And then I got to meet Terrence Howard, which is cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Michael J. White walked right past us when we did the Dolph Lundgren movie.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy did a nod to him.
Did you get to meet Dolph?
No, he wasn't on set that day. But that was cool. It was just a World War II movie.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. I was literally, I don't know if it's actually not that funny, but it's actually kind of sad. But the idea that, like, there's so many people, like, in America that are, like, nostalgic for, like, World War II and, like, Vietnam and shit.
It's a huge niche, man.
It's super, but here's where I'm going with it. It's super, and don't get me wrong, I am in a part of that group of people because, it's super interesting. There's always, like, more stuff behind. There's layers to it.
Yeah.
And especially, like, if you're into, like, politics and stuff, if you like the political history of it all. But I'm like, we as Americans have this, like, romanticized, like, version of war and history in our heads, and I'm like, damn, it's literally just because, like, we've never, like, really had war here. It's always been like somewhere else and
I
like
mean,
away.
I think when it comes to war, my thing is probably Vietnam because I can like relate to it because my father's a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
And
It's a little bit more real to you.
yeah, but like the thing was this: like growing up, we were not allowed to watch like Rambo. We weren't allowed to watch what's that big one that a lot of people see in the '80s with Vincent D'Onofrio and like Platoon.
Oh,
We weren't allowed to watch Platoon at all. So I watched these later in life. The only Vietnam movie that I got related to that my dad would allow to watch was Forrest Gump.
Oh,
You know,
because it's like a little bit more satirical
Yeah.
than war.
but like I remember hearing stories from him about Vietnam because he was in surgery and everything
Oh,
like
boy.
that. He's a guy that my dad, shout out to him, love him to death, but he's lived a life that should be a movie. You
Yeah.
know? I'm not going to go more into that, but like that's like a 4-hour episode of something else. But like, it's just crazy to hear that. But like, I got the whole World War II thing because I knew a lot of people that liked Band of Brothers. They liked, Save It Private Ryan. And
Glorious Bastards.
yeah,
That's my favorite one. Even though
it's funny. You know who's supposed to play the Jew Bear?
I feel like I know this because I feel like I read this somewhere. It's somebody. I can't remember. Who was it?
Adam Sandler.
Yes. How different would have that movie been if Adam Sandler?
I don't know if I would date. I mean, he's great. Shout out to him. He's great in everything he does. But like, it would just been so weird because he didn't do Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
And it would just been so weird to see him play that dramedy version of like, are we gonna hubba dubba doo? Like with that, like, or is it just gonna be like
He's a good
hubba?
character.
Yeah.
A good character actor. I feel like.
And like, shout out to him for he knows what to do.
Oh yeah.
He's got it. He gets his friends. He makes movies, and he goes on. He goes
Prints
location.
money.
Yeah. And I can't wait for Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, absolutely. I will eat that stuff up.
Yeah.
We need another Little Nicky movie though. Let's get on that.
We do. We totally need another lid. That's one of my favorite Sandler movies too.
That one, Little Nicky and Waterboy are my two.
Yeah.
Dude, let's get another Waterboy movie. I want to see a Waterboy movie where he's like, I mean, I don't know if it would make sense now, but just him in the NFL.
That would be amazing. Like
Or him going pro.
Like how they do Ernest Slam Dunk, but just make it Babu Boucher get drafted. That would be amazing.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh shit, like somehow, like for some weird. Oh, we're giving them too many ideas right now.
Yeah.
Get working on that, Hollywood.
Waterboy 2 and
Little Nicky 2. Littler Nickies.
Yeah, little Nick. Oh man, but yeah, those are good times, man. There was and the thing is this, like, there was you look back on it, you're like, oh man, he's in that. Oh man, he's in that. And he just had all his friends, and they just worked together, and that's essentially when you make movies, make it with your friends. When it comes to wrestling, have your friends be there. I know we're in this business where everyone's like, it's a clique. The Chicago scene's such a clique. They're not cliquish. It's just everybody, gets along with everybody, and
You create I would say, because I do understand that mentality sometimes, not understand it, but I understand that people when people say that cliquish mentality, because wrestling can definitely be that, and even like specific companies can definitely feel that way. But I think it's a lot of times you create an ecosystem, and your ecosystem is like happy and healthy.
yeah,
And not outside people coming in can disrupt that ecosystem, but potentially sometimes. And it takes time to adapt. When you buy a new fish from the pet store, you got to let them sit in the bag and acclimate to the water a little bit before you release them into the rest of the tank.
Yeah.
And that's honestly just how it is sometimes. If you're new coming around to another place or anywhere you go, you don't feel too bad if you're not accepted right away. It takes time.
Yeah, I mean,
Jinx.
But yeah, like, it takes time, but also if they don't want you, it doesn't mean you suck. There's so many people that complain to me like, oh, I'm left on red with the promoters. I'm like, listen, man, like, maybe your stuff isn't what they want. Maybe they don't want a 6'4", 295 pounder to be in their show, and they rather have a guy that what they like on TV now, and like, shout out to all the guys all the companies I work for, because it took a lot for me to get there, you know, and I'm happy that like I get to be in Upper Michigan, to be in Indiana, I'm up to be in Illinois, and hopefully, you know, I'm looking to go to Vegas and then other
Nice.
places and stuff like that. But like, but it's just interesting when like young guys ask me like, well, what do I do? I'm like, well, first off, you should check out the show, see if it's what you like, find the joy in it, and if you don't like the show, don't bug the promoter then. You know,
That are also too like I like to
and also
think-
help out, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's always a obvious. I mean, words. Helping out at a show is always the best way to get your foot in the door. Anytime. But like you said, I'm gonna add on to what you said about like looking at the shows. Ask yourself too, like when you're looking at watching the shows, like when you're seeing them and you're seeing what characters and stuff are going on, and just like what do I, and not you specifically, but I mean
course,
like to young wrestlers and just because people ask this all the time.
Yeah.
And I used to get it a lot when, well, I should say I remember a very specific message. I'm fucking droning on. I am my father's son. But it was a message that I got from a promoter that was like, why would I book you? Because I have like 20 other guys on my show that look just like you or that wrestle just like you.
Yeah.
And that didn't make sense to me at the time, but I understand it now. And as a wrestler, you should look at a show and be like, what can I add to this show?
Right.
Like, do I realistically have something that I can offer that I can add differently?
Right.
I know people, you know, like to will be like, oh yeah, I for sure do, but like, you know, sometimes it's different expectation levels, I guess.
I compare it to pizza or ice cream. If you all have cheese pizza, why do you think you can be the cheese pizza? You know, like wrestling is huge now. We have cheese pizza with WWE. We have AEW with pepperoni. We have ROH with like sausage and like. How can you bring yourself to the table with that? You know, like you said before with that promoter site, like how can you stand out when you look like half my roster? You know, and like I have had happen where I would show up a show and I would help out with ring crew and they would put me in a Royal, and then 2 seconds later they're like, hey, can you open up the show? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. But like it'll be funny and and this happened recently, and I was legit getting suited up and I was putting my knee pads on, putting my gear on. And then my buddy who I rode with, he's like, hey, the promoter wants to talk to you. And I thought I did something wrong.
You're like, shit, what did I
I'm
do?
like, fuck, what did Tully do this time? And he's like, hey, I got 4 dates for you. Are you busy? And I'm like, dude, you have not seen me wrestle. Like, you really going to do this now? He's like, yeah, you look the part. And like, that goes back to what we were saying before. Like, look like you're there, you know? Like, look, I'm not telling everybody to take creatine or, you know, get on steroids or anything like that.
Get on the gas, brother.
Get on the gas. Get on the gear. But like get professional quality gear. Get stuff that makes you stand out. But also, if you're a little guy, find something that's different. That's not like every other guy.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone else is wearing kick pads, maybe you should do something else with the kick pads. You know,
Make it stand out.
Make some fringe. You know, like don't always wear the what are those kick pads? All the guys wear the Japanese
ones,
the
or not Tommy's. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those the ones that are black and they have Punk wears them all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like I remember going to a show once and like I legit thought I was at Sims, the video game. Every guy looked the same.
I'll be honest, I have the same kick pads, but I have
you
covers. I have covers for them.
Man. But imagine going to like a show and everyone having the same gear.
Black kick pads, the fucking generic tights.
Yeah,
I mean, you get what you can get when you start out for sure.
Yeah.
But like, invest in yourself, and when you have an idea, you know, put all of your money and your effort into that idea, and make yourself look great. And I feel like a lot more people are now, when they're starting, are at least coming out with like a little bit more of like an idea of what they want to be, and then they start to like grow from it.
Right.
And that makes me happy because it's a lot less like me starting out and being like, I'm a wrestler.
But at the same time, when you broke in, you were like, I'm going to hit up Isaiah's for gear. You know, I know who to contact. You know, you're not like throwing on like compression shorts or compression pants.
Well, no,
You know.
I mean more or less the lines of like, even having professional gear, like when I started, but like, having an idea. I had no idea. I still don't have an idea.
Yeah.
I'm just some purple asshole. But like, at the time, I'm just like, I'm a wrestler, and there was nothing to it. Like I remember people would say like, "What's Matt Nix?" or who's a Matt Nix? And I'm like, I'd have nothing to say because I didn't know. I'd be like, well, it's just me, but like, whatever.
I'm a technical wrestler.
Yeah, I do wrestling, and I don't know. Like, I would even argue that today I don't really know what the answer to that question would be, but I don't think I need to answer that question because I'm not. Well, I mean, not that I'm not trying, because I think
I think by now people, and back then, like with you come out to Purple Rain. You're purple. You know, there is some element of what your character is.
There's some sort of correlation.
Yeah, like I mean, like look at Mr. Made for TV, Tully Bertorelli now. Like you understand what my character is. Mm-hmm. You understand who he is.
There's a direction.
Yeah. Now, where does that path go? That's up to the promoter. First time you're going to see me, I'm going to work the hell out of the crowd because I want the crowd to remember who I am. If I have to stomp the foot and just look like punk rock Brody and just go ape, then do it, you know? People are paying to see you. Gravitate to them. Know that they're there. You can do your match, but let the fans know that you're there. You know, they're the ones that are paying their tickets.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And that's what a lot of these young guys just want. I mean, like, it's the funny term. They want to get their shit in.
Gotta get your shit in, brother.
But, like, you just gotta fucking just, like, gravitate them. Slap high five. If you're the baby face.
Acknowledge them.
And acknowledge the fans.
Acknowledge them, damn it.
Acknowledge
all those people sitting in those seats and standing in the general admission and sitting in the stands. All those people are Roman Reigns, and you got to acknowledge them, motherfuckers.
I mean, like, no joke. If it's my first time there, if they're like, you're going to be the babyface. I go around the whole ring. I go to the crowd and slap five every fan. I don't have merch. I do selfies after the show. If you want a selfie, let me know. But like that's the moment that people remember. You know, and that's when we're going back to like the whole like with the reels and the quick clips is like, yeah, people remember that stuff, but at the same time, like, people got to remember the wrestler more than the move.
Yes.
Because, yeah, there's a lot of people out there now that do the pounce, you know? How am I going to be different from everyone else? You know? How am I going to be different from doing a power slam? How am I going to do different from a gorilla press slam? That's why when I tape study now, I look for like moves. I'm like, okay, no one does the backbreaker anymore, the shoulder backbreaker. You know, like, let me do something that, like, not a lot of people do anymore. You know, it's safe, but also, like, not every match is, when I wrestle people, it's not the same hip toss, arm drag, up and over, like, universal and, like, all that stuff. Like, how can we make it different? And then, like, collaborate with my opponent and be like, okay, we'll do your stuff too, but let's match it and get along with each other. Because if we don't get along with each other, you just have a shitty match.
Yeah,
and then
you need to have that chemistry.
You go in the back, you're like, well, what the hell was that? And I've had that.
I've had that too.
You know?
Had a lot of that.
You know? So, yeah, that's why I look at it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, brother, thank you so much. We're going to have to cap it here. But
that's totally fine. I know we can talk for hours.
Oh, we could definitely talk for hours. And we could talk for some more hours now that we've officially...
Go on his Patreon and get the director's cut.
But at the end of the show, I usually leave it open for anything you want to plug, promote, anything like that. The floor is yours.
If they want to look me up, I'm at Tully Bertorelli. That's TULLY BERTORELLI. I'm wrestling at Lincoln Hall this Saturday for Beats and Brawl. So if you're going to be there, it's
so this
Saturday.
Is coming out. This is coming out Friday.
Okay.
So tomorrow. So the show is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
If you want to check that, I'll be at Backbreaker on February 15th in Griffin, Indiana. Shout out to those guys. And then if you want to like watch a fun movie, watch Weekend Getaway. It's on Amazon Prime.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, man.
Thank you, man. Cheers. Liquid Death. Sponsor both of us.
Please.